The screen you're looking at here is from software that you can access online called Hedger Pro, and it's a web application designed to help you find horses to back to lay or hedge bet. It's a very useful resource with virtually everything in one place to find successful trading opportunities within horse racing. I've been using it specifically to find in-running trades. That was my first stab at using the software, although now I'm going to move on to other ways of actually applying the data within the software. In this video I'll give you an example of 7 races that I've been through over a period of 4 days and traded all of them using the data in Hedger Pro. 6 of them successfully, had 1 loss. So when you first log in and you get into the Pro app, you might think, oh my god, what is all this? But like anything, over time it starts to make sense and you find what you need to use within the software to actually make successful trades. Now initially when I started using it, I focused on the PAE. Now PAE stands for Pace Actual Expected, because what this tool is, it's good at finding horses that don't always win the race but put in a good show. Now if you look on the screen here, you can see the PAE at the top. You can see the horse of Stard, which is Killy Necking. Cast your eyes to the middle of the screen roughly and you'll see PAE, and that's 7.8. Now that's what I focused on with this specific trade. Also the fact that it was a horse near the top of the market. It was one of the well fancied horses, wasn't a rank outsider with very little money on it. I kind of got a maximum that I'll go to, which is around about odds of 15, but they're in, in races where the horses are near enough at the top of the market, but quite high odds. Anyway, the PAE, the Pace Actual Expected, in this one at 7.8 drew my eye to Killy Necking, and that's all I really knew about the software at this point. Now there's a multitude of other features that you can use within the software. There's other things that I now use and I'll use in the other trades that I'll demonstrate for you. For example, if you click into the horse, you have this extra information which you can click on Hedge. Now there's other statistical information that you can get to, which I'll also show you later on, but if you click Hedge, you can actually scroll over on the left hand side to the target profit. You can see I've moved over to 200%, and it gives you the filter profit over time that horse has achieved 200% profit from your stake, which is useful. That is, to have that at a glance and be able to access this race by race is very useful. Within Hedge Pro you do have the facility to place both pre-race and in-running trades. For my own immediate learning purposes, I decided to stick with Fairbot, which you can see on the screen, and use one of the automation files I created to actually trade, get on the trade and try and automate the process of hedging off in running. Now you can see in this example we're in the race and the horse has actually traded, which I did manually by clicking the top button where you can see it's at 70 odd pound at the moment. I just click that in running when the horse dropped down to well, it was below 8.2 when I clicked it, I think from memory, and yeah, it was a very quick reaction time thing. I thought, great, I've got a load of profit there, and I just clicked it and took the money. Wouldn't recommend it. You need to be quick off the mark. You need reactions like a ninja, but you can see here, just watching the final stages of the race, that the horse did actually go a little bit lower than 8.2 a few times, but it didn't win the race, but it did as expected. And from the price that I got matched at, which was odds of 14, I was able to hedge off for quite a healthy profit there. I think the horse that won, we ended up with £66.66, so after Betfair commission that's about that was £63.33 that I took. But the horse did put in a show. It did achieve target. You can see even now it's dropped down to odds around 7s in running, so there's plenty of money to be matched on that horse in particular. But I would, going forward, wouldn't really advise to do that manually like I did. I'd advise to actually automate the process, which is what I delved deeper into later on, and created a file to actually do this from SP. Now I know the developer of Hedge Pro is looking to integrate this within his software, which would be a great feature. Now moving on to day 2 using the software, I began using the average price drop, which is the APD, and looking at the average book drop as well, which is the ABD, and just really in this example I'm scanning through the day looking for horses that got a high PAE, which you'll remember is the pace actual expected, and horses that actually have a decent APD, really 70% around that threshold. So if they've got both of those things and they're near the top of the market, they're going to be appealing to me. So in this example you can see I'm just flicking through the day, and this horse stands out because it's 100% profit. You can see the price over time, it's achieved 100%, it's all green, looking good, it's got a high PAE, and the APD, which is average price drop, is 73%. So flicking over to Fairbot, identifying the horse, and now you can see I'm using a different file from Fairbot. And what this does, see very quickly there, what this does, I've got it set up so if the horse from SP moves down in price 1.5 from its starting price, in odds it will trade off automatically. So that's going from SP start price, and you're looking for a drop of minus 1.5 in running, and that'll place the trade for you. So you haven't got to have cat-like reactions using that software package to actually make the trades for you. Now as I said earlier, the developer of Hedger Pro is looking to incorporate a way to do that from SP, but you can still trade now in running using Hedger Pro quite easily, but you will not be able to do it from SP until the developer actually incorporates that feature. You can set it so it goes, like a minute before the race is due to start. Me personally, when I'm trading in running, I like to go from the start price, which is why in these examples I'm using Fairbot and Hedger Pro to actually identify the horses. I will however show you how to use the automation within Hedger Pro for in-play trades, and also for the pre-race trades, which I'm going to be using it for more. One point I did miss with this, as I'm going through the races, which you can see in the background, looking for suitable horses and suitable races, you'll see that I'm selecting horses that are not odds on. I'm looking for some margin for the price to actually move, and what I found is, obviously if I'm going for a horse that's odds on, around about evens or less, really the sort of price movement that you're looking for is for it to actually win the race. Now we're not looking for the horse to win the race, we're looking for it to meet the criteria where it makes 100% profit. In running, that movement of odds, we don't necessarily need it to win the race. If it wins the race, great, it shows it's a good selection, but we're not backing to win. Whether we should be backing to win, over the long stretch of actually using this, because it's a minuscule amount of data that we've got so far since I've started using it over the 4 days with the 7 races, that's a different story altogether. But for now, as actually from a trading point of view in play, I'm looking for horses that are higher than evens, so really odds of 3 or 4, 3 upwards minimum, really, that kind of margin. And I'm not, as the odds are moving 1.5 and running from the start price, typically the horses I've been choosing actually are higher than that. They're around about odds of 5 upwards. So with that sort of threshold, it's kind of with the money I'm using, which is £100 stake per trade, it's kind of coming in around about 25 to 30% ROI on investment. It's never going to be exact, you know, because obviously the price of the horse and it's at 1.5 odds movement. The horse's odds are always going to be different. But the point I'm making is I'm not looking for odds on horses. Sticking to the PAE selection, I'm looking for the average price drop, etc., and that's what I'm looking for. So in this, over this day, which was the 19th, you see that I've got 4 horses selected, and I actually traded all 4 of these horses. Here's the results. Now the first one was a loser. If I click on this, you can see that some money was matched in running on the horse on that first one, which reduced the liability down to around 50 quid, and then I won on the remaining 3 to give me an overall profit on the day of 58.95 after Betfair deduction. So the first one was a loss. You know, it could have been worse. It could have been 100 quid, but actually some of that money got matched in running on the price, but not all of it. Same again on the 20th of April. You see I've selected one horse here, done hello gesture, and I've put that in Fairbot using the automation file. The reason for this selection is, if you take a look at the race, we can see that the PAE for the horse is high at 6.7. The average price drop is 81%, so that matchup is pretty much the best in the race, and the odds meet criteria. As you can see there was a decent showing on the graph for the 100% target and profit over time. So just scanning through the race again, let me just reiterate what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a good PAE, I'm looking for a good average price drop number. If I look at the graph, I select the hedge tab, I set it to 100% on the left hand graph, and I'm looking for a good profit over time. I'm looking for a horse that's at the top of the market, but not odds on, odds of around 3 upwards. So this horse meets the criteria. We go to the race, you see the odds are good, select the file, select the horse, done, that's set for automation. And just do that and scan through each race on the left hand side, looking for horses that actually meet that criteria. So race by race, I'll just click through, and at a glance you can see if anything is going to come close just very quickly. Now this one here, the Paddy Pie, that puts me off. There was a lot of red. When I set that to 100, there's a lot of red there, so I just move on. There's plenty of horses. You know, over a day, if you've got 1 to 5 selections, it's plenty. That's no good. See the graph just puts you off immediately. There's a lot of red. You're looking for the low hanging fruit in this scenario. The odds are too high on that horse. You can see everything's good, yeah, but look at the odds, 26, no good. Everything else looks good, you know, but it's just coming in too high. Is there going to be enough money on the horse in running? Probably not. That's why we're going for the horses that tend to sit at the top of the market, but with enough odds movement. So looking at this horse, PAE, yeah, doesn't look fantastic. It's okay. The APD isn't really high enough. It's quite high odds, so we'd say no on that horse. Again, you know, everything is quite high, not really meeting criteria. It's sort of borderline. That horse would be borderline, you know, it's just under what we're looking for. Again, a lot of PAE in red there, so the pace actual expected, nothing really standing out. This one, no. Below, it's got to meet all criteria. As I said, you know, he's looking for the easy option with these horses that are just going to do the business for us as quickly as possible. Now this horse at 100% looks possible. There is another horse in this race. I'd say looking back would have been a better option. That would be Aguatera. Looking back and how the race panned out and everything else, it would have been the better option. And obviously learning from my mistakes here, that would definitely been the one that I'd have chosen doing it again. But on that point, what I did actually adopt from the second day of racing, which took 4 races to get there, was a stop at a profit mentality. And the stop at a profit mentality is anything over 25% profit on the day. I think anything 25% of stake, the second I reach that on the day with these in-play trades, I'm fine stopping. And that's how I ran it from day 2, after my sticking the toe in the water and actually selecting it in running, hitting the hedge button live, to actually automating it properly using the correct file within Fairbot. I adopted the stop at a profit mentality. So on this day in particular, you'll see when we get to the results, the first horse won, so there was just 1 trade required. The second horse was also a profitable trade when I watched the race, as was the next day that we actually traded as well. But I was quite happy just to stop at a profit and avoid any potential banana skins. And that's just the way I'm running it. I'm running it to this criteria listed. As you can see, I'm just going through this one meets the criteria: high PAE, average price drop, right odds, 100%, good profit over time, graph all looks healthy. So this is another horse to add in. Excuse me. And it did actually, if it had selected the horse, it would have actually done the business for us in running. But as I said, quite happy just to stop at a profit using this strategy. But the tool itself, Hedge Pro, allows you to apply your own strategies to it. I'm still learning with it, and as I stated, I'll record my results and my progress as I go along. The point of me showing you all this right now is just really the method of selection and how long it takes, which is roughly taking sort of 5 to 10 minutes maximum to find these 4 races with 4 horses that meet all the criteria I listed before, which is the PAE, APD, goes to hedge on the graph, sets 100, positive profit over time, odds of 3 upwards. See here, that's exactly with done hello gesture, exactly how I've selected it for this horse, which is the first horse of the day in the 130. Same again with the other horses. Now, skipping ahead there, I came back and found out that the horse had actually traded, and I was able to then cancel the remaining trades, and the horse, after Betfair commission, won me £24.51p. So not too shabby, and then done and dusted. Cancel the remaining trades, as you can see in the screenshot. Now, in this final example, which was the 24th of April, I'll show you the first horse that was selected because it was the first horse that won, and obviously we're stopping at a profit. You don't need me to demonstrate this selection process again. It's pretty self-explanatory. The horse actually won at odds of 14, so a crystal ball would have been handy, because obviously I'd have put the mortgage on it. But the process itself of actually finding the horses, what I'm interested to use it for is for looking at successful place bets, win bets, also in-play trading, But pre-race trading, which is one of the primary functions of the software itself, Hedger Pro actually has the trading facilities built into it, which as I mentioned, I'll go into that in more detail in the next video and show you how to set up trades to run pre-race and in play. So yeah, we'll cover that in another video, and I'm gonna delve into actually using this as a pre-race trading tool and try and use it all in one. So the functions that I have with Fairbot, I'll move over and start using within Hedger Pro, so don't need to actually automate it within Fairbot. And the developer of Hedger Pro is keen to actually move this forward and add new features to make it a very effective pre-race trading tool. And as stated, he is going to work to add to trade from in-play SP prices to target prices. The goal is to use the data so you can set up rules, activate the rule, and then what the rule will do when horses have actually met that criteria, it'll just automate your entire list of trades throughout the day. So this selection process that I'm going through now will be a thing of the past. Using Fairbot, that'll be a thing of the past, you won't need it. So as quick as this process is, selecting the trading file in Fairbot, finding the horses with Hedger Pro, see here I'll show you the strategy editor, how it's set up. This is the file, this is how it hedges off, these are the rules that I've put in place. You can see it has the minus 1.5 odds. All of this, as good as it is and quick, takes about 10 minutes, to go through, find the horses, select them. This one, Stop Talking, which actually went on to win the race and meets all the criteria mentioned before. Nice, good odds for the horse to move. Everything looks right. This process of actually going through Hedger Pro and then moving over to Fairbot and backwards and forwards, what we can actually do, which is very exciting, without any exaggeration. I know I've got a monotone voice, but I do try and inject a little bit of excitement in every now and again when I feel it, for a software that I think has got stacks of potential. And what actually strikes me about Hedger Pro is that once we actually build our systems that are consistently successful, I mean, even this in-play strategy, just from diving in with the software and running seven trades over 4 days, I made money. I actually made in total £158.19, which has really only happened with me stumbling around the software, finding criteria that can identify horses that will typically perform well in running. You see here I'm looking more at the statistics and really just scratching the surface with what is possible with the data inside this software. Now, with the data in the software, and that's all well and good, but you're still actually manually going through. If we actually find strategies that work according to the data that the software generates, that can be automated fully. You can set up your rules within the software and it will trigger the trades or trigger the bets, however you want to run it, and just leave it to run. So it's tailor-made for a pre-race trading strategy to run completely on autopilot based on the data within the software, so you can set and forget it. It's tailor-made for that. It's also, from a betting strategy point of view, it's tailor-made for that as well. So perfect for me to work with as a tool. Hedger Pro so far has been quite something that I've came across that really sparks some excitement. There's a couple of other things that I'm going to be introducing, which I'll go into more detail about in future blogs to do with football trading, another race stat analysis that'll work with other automation that I run on the site. But for what I've mentioned here, for in-play trading, pre-race trading, finding win bets, and finding horses that consistently put in a show, so using it from a place point of view, that's fantastic for me. To have this, because it's consistently reliable. As I said, I've just really fumbled around the software finding this set of, from my own betting experience and trading experience and knowing what to look for, I was able to quickly identify certain things that would be useful tools, would actually be useful to find horses that will be able to put in a show. And the communication with the developer has been good, so very encouraging. I recommend that if you are looking to follow this particular method of finding horses in play, to trade, you can see it's worked for me. It's done well. Doesn't take long, 5 to 10 minutes to go through a day. I'll send you the strategy for Fairbot if you want to use that, as I've shown in the video, so it can trade from SP until it's actually worked into the Hedger Pro by the developer. So yeah, you can get off and running immediately with that, and I'm going to move on to learning how to use it for pre-race trades now, while the developer adds a few extra features in to make it functional for that. And then, as I said, he is working to create that whole process of rules that can just completely automate the process based on the criteria that we lay out. So exciting times there, to be fair. Very good. As I've been gassing and explaining what's coming up with the software and how you can use it and how I've used it for in-play trading and what I'm going to be doing, I've just been scanning through the day, looking for the PAE, APD, hedge, set to 100%, positive profit over time, odds of 3 upwards on the horses, and I found 3 that met criteria. In this instance, the first 2 would have won and the last one would have lost. I did stop at a profit after the first horse, and as you'll see in a minute, Stop Talking did actually go on to win the race as well. So just to show you here, the PA for Stop Talk is 9.3, APD 9. The odds are, it's in the top end of the market, still in the race, but there's enough odds there for it to move. There's a lot of thumbs up. You can see the price drop. It's been consistent. That odds movement that you're looking for. You see the graph shows positive. Everything looked good for that horse, which made it a selection and actually made it a winning trade on the day. Very quickly just selected it using Fairbot, and the strategy file that I'll send you if you want to use it, traded it from SP to the minus 1.5 odds in running. Now the horse, as you can see in the latter stages of the race, we just jump in, won. There was a bit of profit, 1140 after commission, but the horse did actually go on to win. If I'd have just backed that horse to win over the 7 selected horses at those odds, I'd have been even more in profit than I'd actually traded it the way I have done. In fact, a few of the horses did actually go on to win, so I've made quite a good profit overall if I had backed them to win. So that could be another way to use the software going forward. I don't know everything about it, I just know it's a very powerful web application for finding horses that do perform well, and I'm hoping to use it a lot more to find horses that win, trade, in play and place. So my assessment of Hedger Pro over the 4 days using the software is excellent. Lots of potential, really just scratch the surface with what's possible. I found using the interface 100% reliable, which is important, and for what I used it for was just a tiny fraction of what it's capable of actually delivering, because you can actually place the bets, you can, there's automation within there's rules you can set up and things that I am yet to discover. I went about learning the software from an in-play trading point of view, which is just one way of looking at it, and I could have gone at it the complete opposite end of the market, looking to find horses that would make good lays really, and then they would have actually looked more from a later back perspective. I know the software is set up to back to lay and it's a hedging app in that way, and the developer is looking to add a later back option in there. He's also looking to add in, as I've mentioned in the video, an SP to target profit in running, and also increase the rules facilities, so that'll actually create automation. You can tick all your rules, as I mentioned before, and it'll automate all your bets or trades within the day. So very exciting stuff, really, for what it is at the moment, and where the software is going to be over the coming months. I'm excited to be part of it, and I'll continue to be documenting my progress using the software. My involvement with Hedger Pro will increase, and I'll work closely with the developer to integrate my strategies and automated processes I have to make money from horse racing within the software, and then I can move away from needing to use Fairbot and the tools in there and the strategy editing facilities, which is good for me, because I spend a lot of time working within Fairbot and using the strategy editing facilities like that to create different systems and ways to make money from UK horse racing. But this is an all-in-one solution that is packed full of features and really key data that is second to none, really, and nothing else I've come across on the internet for hedging, trading, finding horses that perform comes close. I am working with other companies on different projects, and different football based projects and other things to do with trading, and other data sources that I'm going to include within automated strategies that I run at present. But for pre-race trading, for in-play trading, finding horses to back to win, and also for place betting purposes, finding horses that really put in a show and come close, this is a powerful tool. Just as an example, over the 4 days of using the software, here's my very crude rundown here, and what's that, about 22% return on investment over the actual 7 trades placed, because it was £100 per trade, so not too shabby. Really just fumbling around within the software, and I was able to make £158.19p, and it's the sort of tool that I can use each day very easily alongside what I'm doing already with other data sources that I can benchmark, and everything ties in nicely for me. So if you're just looking for something to have quickly to hand and create new strategies and betting systems, you can't go wrong with this. It's absolutely spot on. Give it a go. $9.99 for the month if you're not sure. If I've convinced you, that's good value for the year. Any questions, you can always send the developer an email over here. He's got his contact. Yeah, that's where you get in touch with the developer of Hedger Pro, or drop me an email. My contact information. If you're watching this on YouTube, there'll be a link below to the blog where you can find out more information about my criteria that I've worked with in the video, and also I'll take you to the website so you can drop me an email through the contact form. So any questions, get in touch and I'll get back to you ASAP. Thanks.